and welcome back to BitCast and to the third episode. Hopefully, my voice is louder and it's not too loud. I adjusted some settings, so still getting used to this whole dedicated microphone thing. And wow, we're already on the third episode. I started this podcast, I think it was like the second day of Monday of February, and it's only February 12th. Actually, it's already February 12th. I mean, I guess it's because I did do one episode on a Monday, then I shifted to Saturday, but here we are with an episode on Friday, and I figured, you know what? What news will happen in one extra day? We have Mario Tennis Fever that came out today as of the day recording. Now, I know this podcast episode will come out tomorrow morning, so it'll be one day by y'all's time. But in recording time, Mario Tennis Fever just came out and everything like that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, but there's more than that. So before I get too in depth, let's go over today's episode theme. Alright, y'all. So, like I said, Mario Tennis Fever is officially out today on February 12th, and there is some huge Nintendo Direct rumors that we might get a General Direct next week with 3D Mario. Also, I tried out a new game recently I want to talk about, and we have some Apple news, including some sad Siri delayed news. So, alright, everyone, let's just start out with with Mario Tennis Fever, which is probably the biggest thing, and this is mainly why I did an episode today because Mario Tennis Fever came out. Now, I'm just going to be straight off the bat. I did not get this. I mean, when I heard about it, I was kind of like, I don't know, maybe, but I was like, I'm just not a big sports um game fan. But I mean, if you're into that type of thing, this is probably an amazing game. It looks really good. You're seeing I was pulled up the gameplay trailer, so this is the overview trailer you're seeing right now. The graphics are pretty good, not the best I've seen, but it is very, probably about time that we got a new Mario sports game. It's just tennis again. I've never actually played a Mario sports game. It's just I'm just not into sports games. Literally, the only sports game I've ever really played is Wii Sports. So, beyond that, you're not gonna find me playing a sports game. I was tempted by it, and I've even recently debated on it, especially with the new adventure mode. It's one of those games that I'll play it, and I'll be like, you know what? I mean, it's not that bad, but then 1 week later, I'll be done with it, and it's $70. Like, I just don't want to pay that much money. And this is one of those games that would be better with friends. And I mean, I actually, a good bit of my friends have the Switch 2 now. So we could do this, but I just don't know. It's a lot of money. And we don't get together to play games a lot. We usually do other things, but I don't know. This might be one of those games that maybe a few years down the road I'll be like, you know what? I'm just gonna get it. It looks good. It looks better than all the other ones, I must say, and that kind of seems like a trait of it. It's just one of those things that I'm not interested in, and part of me wants to get it just because of the coverage on my channel, but I just can't afford to do that. So I was like, well, you know what? I'll make a podcast talking about it. So overall, like I said, it looks good for what it is. It's not my style. Like, it's just not my style. So, talking about that, didn't get the best rating. So, if we go here to Metacritic, as we can see right here, it is currently sitting at a 77, which is honestly not that good. You can see a big bunch of them were mixed, and some of them were even negative. Only like one person gave it 100. I mean, most of the reviews are pretty good, but I feel like the Switch 2 is just stuck in this endless cycle of sub 80s games. Like like Metroid Prime 4, Kirby Air Riders, Mario Kart World got more than that. Either way, it's either the critic reviews are not good or the user reviews aren't very good. And honestly, I actually am one of those persons that disagrees with a pretty big amount of these reviews. Like, I feel like Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment should have got way high reviews. It only ended up something in the 70s, like all these other games. But I think it was actually really good, and I think it actually should have got significantly higher score. I actually really enjoyed that game, like genuinely enjoyed that game. But I will say one thing: it pleases me that Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is 1 point higher on the critic reviews for that. And as time has gone on, these reviews have dropped. Like, now it's a 7.9 from user reviews and 78. But here's the deal: I kind of feel like we are treating anything sub 90s as a horrible game. Donkey Kong Bonanza was the only Switch 2 game to get above 90. And we have all these other games like Prime 4 that are even sub 80s, and some of them that were like Mario Kart World that got in the 80s, and we're freaking out. But y'all, that is still a good rating. The 90s are great. That's what it means. So great, and then the 80s, no, the 90s are like excellent or amazing. Then the 80s is great, and then 70s is good. So that means this is upper 70s. That means that this game is a very good game. Same with Mario Tennis Fever and all of the other Switch 2 games. And wow, it is very disappointing, and I think that a lot of people are boycotting Nintendo. I mean, and I'm using that term incorrectly, but they're overreacting. They're giving. I feel like I don't know. I'm not communicating this the best, but I feel like they're boycotting Nintendo in the fact that they're just giving awful reviews to every game because maybe we didn't get the big 3D Mario. Maybe the game didn't quite live up to it, but they're just throwing out negative reviews. And I mean, I've seen that because you'll look at a review and you'll be like, oh my goodness, this person is just like hating for no reason. And I've said this many times, but sadly, that's what our society has come to: people hating for no reason. Like, okay, there is reason, I will admit, there is definitely reason for Prime 4 and probably for Mario Tennis Fever, but I think we came out so high of the Switch era from the so lows of the Wii U era that now we're getting like okay or mediocre or just like normal. And I feel like we are almost not used to having not 90s plus rated games, that we're just like overreacting. I feel like we're overreacting. At least, I don't know. I don't know, honestly. This Switch 2 has been such a complicated generation where it's like, I think we're overreacting, but I don't know, but like, what? So yeah, overall, Mario Tennis Fever, again, stuck in the 70s, but keep in mind, it's 77. That is still a very good game to almost great game. So, and I think that's another thing. I think when we see reviews in the 70s and 80s, we flip out because I guess as Nintendo people, we think, oh my goodness, it has to be in the 90s, but that a lot of games score that well, like a lot. So, I don't, I like Donkey Kong Bonanza was one of those games that got up in the 90s. It's like not every game that will ever come out by Nintendo will be in the 90s. I mean, did some games like Prime 4 let us down? Yes, but like I think we are overreacting when it comes to the score. Like 78 is not that bad. I mean, it could be a lot better, but it's not that bad. I mean, there's worse games out there. I mean, I am kind of disappointed. I still wish we were at least seeing some more games in the 80s, but like, I mean, Mario Kart World got an 86, and that Mario Kart World in the 80s, I think Kirby Air Riders was like 79, and then Donkey Kong was like 96. And I honestly think Donkey Kong was definitely not my favorite game. Like, I honestly enjoyed it more than uh Prime. I enjoyed Prime 4 more than Donkey Kong, and that's just my personal taste. And also, just like, I mean, 76 critic reviews with a score of 77 for Mario Tennis Fever. I honestly think for this game that that's actually really good. Like, I think this actually scored like 1 point higher than the last Mario Sports game back in the Switch era. So, see, there were even games back then, Mario Sports games back then, that did not get a 95. And I think that a 90 rating score is overkill for a Mario Tennis game, period, because it's just a tennis game. So I do really think that we are overreacting these days. And I know we kind of side tangents out of Mario Tennis Fever, but honestly, it does not look like a bad game to me. And the really, if I was into sports games, oh, I would pick this up in a flash because that's a pretty good review. It looks really good. It's just it's not my style. It's not necessarily that I'm saying it's a bad game and that's why I'm not getting it. It's just sports games are not my thing and I don't have $70 to shell out on a game that would be good, but since it's not really my thing, I wouldn't really play it that much. So that's really all I'm saying here. Mario Tennis Fever looks like a very interesting entry, has the new Fever rackets and a bunch of new modes, and honestly, it looks like one of the best Mario sports games. It's just again, I do not have really an interest in sports games. It's not my thing. It's just like football. Okay, we had the Super Bowl last weekend. I do not know anything about football because I literally don't care. Like, not to offend anyone, but football is one of my least favorite things just because it's so annoying, like, to me. Like, all these things and, like, these 4 hour long games. So, yes, I knew the Super Bowl was coming mostly because of my friends who are very into football, but I knew nothing about what was going on there besides that weird artist coming because I saw something on Apple.com because of Apple Music. It's just like that, and I don't know, maybe my not so much love for real sports has carried into sports games. I don't know. Like, my favorite sport is hockey. I've never played hockey. I've actually played soccer, but I think soccer is fun to play but not really fun to watch. You know what I mean? But hockey's definitely the funnest to watch. I actually just saw a game not too long ago. So I'm like, yeah, sports games are not my cup of tea, and that's okay. It's just like a Metroid game might not be your cup of tea. You might have, and I'm not just talking about Prime 4, just talking about all of the other Metroid games. Maybe you don't like that style. Maybe you don't like the backtracking, and I can see why, because sometimes it does get annoying. But I love Metroid games, but that's me, and that's also another thing. There are, and one thing I do feel like is that when you really like a game, but it's one of those games people don't like, you get a lot of hate for it. Like with Prime 4. In fact, I had a comment on a video. It wasn't a recent video, but it was a recent comment, and they were basically just telling, in the general sum of it, it was just be like, be yourself, like what you like. Like, it is like, and they were basically saying Prime 4 is a masterpiece. You just haven't soaked it in, and it basically saying, like, it's okay to like something that someone else doesn't like. You listening to this right now may hate Metroid Prime 4. And that's okay. That you have that right to it. And as for me, I really loved Prime 4. And that's okay. I have the right to love it. And I have heard actually I especially like Nintendo Land. He's made a lot of things recently apparently that he's been getting hate for either hating too much on Nintendo or like it's just like I kind of feel like all the Nintendo fans are in this delusional state because of everything that is happening right now in the whole world, not just Nintendo, including me. I feel like I'm in a delusional state a lot too. So, yeah, but overall, I do think people do overreact about the ratings of games. 77 is a pretty good score, which means it's a very good game. It's not great. It's not excellent or perfect, but it's a very good game. So, yeah. Alright, and now moving on to the big Nintendo Direct news. So, I've covered this in basically every podcast, but it's been developing more so. So, basically, there is now a new outstanding rumor that we will be seeing possibly a big General Direct next week, and it will have our boy 3D Mario. Oh, yes. So, this rumor or leak or whatever you want to call it comes from Attack the Backlog and Nash Weedle, and they claim that the Nintendo Direct is reportedly scheduled for the third week of February, which is next week, and that it would focus on a brand new 3D Mario game. Oh my goodness, yes. Y'all, we need this. We need a new 3D Mario. Come on now. Oh my goodness. I hope this is true. Y'all, if this is true, I will literally have a panic attack. I will go into cardiac arrest from excitement. And all I'm saying, y'all, is if this happens, Nintendo is back than ever. I mean, they already are back with the Switch 2, unbeknownst to people who think Nintendo's dying. They're not. But oh my goodness, they're true. Now, as far as the sources, Attack the Backlog and Nash Real, I believe they were people who also were talking about the partner showcase, and that turned out to be true. But we also got confirmation from the esteemed King Nate leaker Nate the Hate, King Nate the Hate, which that I'm calling him that because like that's what people act like with him. I predicted in last podcast he's going to trip up eventually. But oh my goodness, yes, we need this. Like Nintendo, please do this. You do not understand how happy this will make me. Now, do I think this will happen? I honestly don't know. Honestly, I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to think anymore with all that has happened. I want to believe this so badly, but I know I need to temper myself because I don't know if this will happen. I don't know. And I because we've been let down so many times before by Nintendo when it comes to things like this. I really hope it's true. And I kind of feel like it has to be because I've said this many times before, but Nintendo has to release the next 3D Mario this year, and it has to be amazing. And I feel like they kind of have to reveal it soon. Like they cannot wait till September. You know? I feel like even if it comes out next year, which I will be extremely mad if it does, they cannot wait till September. And I feel like a big general direct in February would be the first time to reveal it. Maybe not give a release date, just put 2026, and then maybe have a general direct in June or July to reveal the release date. And this would be the big holiday game for this year. So it'd be like November, October, November, maybe even December, but preferably not. So that way it would be mentioned at the Game Awards this year. Speaking of that, they already announced that. Can y'all believe that? I really do hope that Metroid Prime 4 at least gets mentioned somewhere this year, but I have a feeling it won't, sadly. Either way, I feel like this kind of has to happen just because, it just has to. It just has to. There's no other way to put it. I really hope it does. I don't know if it will, and honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards it not happening just to temper my expectations, but it is what it is. Okay! One thing I should have mentioned earlier, by the way, the new Joy-Con colors are out today. The barely purple and barely green slash teal colors are now out. Yay! I won't be buying them because they're not the colors I want, and they're also a waste of money. All I'm saying is if you do get them, get a D-brand skin. And also, D-brand, if you're listening to this, you really do owe me because I've advertised for you for free for so many times, and I expect robots. I don't know, maybe y'all's AI because y'all are robots. We all know D-brand is robots. Maybe the robot they just can't process it, but I've advertised too much for D-brand. I've bought too many of their products. Also, D-brand, get your act together on shipping. I have to wait like 3 weeks every single time. And yes, I'm going to be weird about D-brand because D-brand is weird in general. And no, I'm not copying LTT. Well, kind of maybe. I don't know. Okay, just if you ever do sponsor me, please make the URL something not weird. Okay. Unless you want to be I don't know, whatever. Anyway, there you go, D-brand. All right, and there was also another game that I played. Well, another game that I played. There is a game that I tried out, and that game is Star Trek Voyagers Across the Unknown. So I've actually been interested in this game for a bit now. I actually heard about it when me and my dad were talking about it, and I was pretty interested in it and very happy to see that it was coming to Switch 2. By the way, the gameplay you are seeing right now is from the game demo. I did not buy the game, that came out with a demo. The game's not even out yet, by the way. I should have clarified that. But I played the demo last night. You're seeing gameplay I captured from last night, and it was not as good as I expected. And my first complaint about it right off the bat is that the text size is extremely small, and when you're sitting 10 feet away from your, or not 10, close to 10 feet away from your TV, you can't read this. I'm literally sitting right here with my display in front of me, and I can barely read it from here. Can y'all even read it? It might be too compressed for y'all to read it. And y'all, I digged through the settings. I could not find a way to increase the text size. Then again, it is just a demo, but either way, it was good. It took some getting used to. It is a sim slash strategy game. Basically, you have this zoomed out view of the inside of your ship, and you repair decks, and you can go to different planets, and you gather material and things. The only problem is that it's at this zoomed out view. I don't know how to explain it. You're seeing it right now, but this is the main view, even when you're traveling. So you would be like, oh, I want to go to that planet, set course, and then your little tiny Voyager would go to the planet, and then when you're inside, as you can see right here, little tiny Voyager right there is going to your planet, or the planet. It is cool because it does go throughout the storyline. It I There's a lot more demo left to play. I might pick it up tonight. I got stuck. That's another thing. But you can see this is your main view, and you'd be like, "Oh, I want to repair that deck." Okay, it's repaired, but there's not. It's definitely not like in the gameplay is not as if like you were a officer, and it's not like 3D, and it's another thing is that there's no spoken dialogue. It's all text that you're seeing. But I mean, this is that classic sim type of vibe. I mean, there is these cutscenes, which I must say they look amazing. Like those graphics look amazing. The inside graphics don't look that good, especially the people. They look very weird. Like they do not look right. They look weird. Of course, this is the demo, and then they did put a disclaimer saying that this is the demo. Things will be very different probably when the game comes out. So maybe I'm being a bit too quick to judge it. It's just this is another one of those games that I don't think I'd be into. Don't get me wrong, I love Star Trek. Well, most of it, some of it. I like the newer stuff, and I like Voyager's like probably my favorite series. It's just this is not, this is just not my style of game. Like, I think y'all have kind of got the point now. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. There is some multiple choice options. It definitely takes some getting used to, but I mean, it's not too expensive. But again, I feel like it'd be one of those things where I'd buy it and I'd play it for a little bit, but then I wouldn't play it through. I wouldn't like it's not one of those games that when I get it, I'll play it until I beat it. And maybe I'm only and I don't know. And I do that a lot for games, so maybe I can't judge it by that, but like I don't know. It's like one of those things like if money wasn't a thing, I would definitely get it. Like if I had infinite money, I'd definitely get it. Just digital download it. Same with Mario Tennis Fever. But I don't know. I mean it was actually pretty fun once I got into the groove in it. And maybe, if I play the demo more I'll be more concise, but I still don't plan on getting it. Uh I it's just again not my style. Which was kind of saddening because I honestly was actually kind of excited for this game. Of course, I didn't know what type of game it would be, so you know, that's that. It was definitely a interesting experience. I just wanted, talk about that. A game I tried. This was actually featured in the really not the best Nintendo Direct that we had. Was it last Thursday? Last Thursday? Yeah, I think last Thursday, which would have been today. And you know, it 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 is what it is basically. So yeah, that does it for our Nintendo news, and now let's move on to our Apple news, and we have some more prominent news. First off, this is just breaking today. We have some pretty sad news, and that is that Siri 2.0, where's my cursor, is delayed, and I also forgot to full screen this. Siri 2.0 is delayed. Also, one good news before we talk about this. I think I finally fixed the screen capture on my Mac. Because I don't know if I mentioned this in the podcast. I think I did last episode. But I had an issue where it kept stopping. And even just with screen recording. Sorry about that, y'all. I had someone text me, so I had to pause the recording. Anywho, like I was saying, I finally fixed it, and I used Clean My Mac to fix it. And so far, it's been working perfectly, which is like so amazing. So I did not buy Clean My Mac, but I think I might because I think it's really good. I just did the free trial to clear up some space, and one of the things it can do is it can like um reconnect any like permissions that may have gotten corrupted or misconnected. And whatever it did, I think it might have fixed it. So Yeah. Anyways, Siri 2.0 is delayed, according to Mark Gurman, which is he's weird-ish. I don't know. Anyways, apparently Apple was planning on releasing the new Siri 2.0 powered by Gemini on iOS 26.4. And keep in mind, we just got 26.3, so it'd be about a month or two. And honestly, I saw this coming because I I've I was one of those people that like they got it ready that fast. Because here's the deal: even if Apple was already working on this like some in last year, they just did the deal. That is not a lot of time to put all this together and make all this. And I was also thinking they wouldn't they want to like do some marketing? I mean, then again, they already did that and it went horrible, and maybe they don't have the reputation right now to do that. But I was like 27, so apparently with some internal things is now getting it delayed, and it is caused by internal challenges. Basically, all this document goes on to talk about is some things of getting some of the new features to work better together, but I'm like, yeah, like, how could you get it done that fast? And Apple had never promised a ship date more specific than this year, like it says right here. They said apparently that Apple was eyeing 26.4 in March, but y'all, that's next month. Like what? No. And so honestly, I'm not like disappointed really. I mean, I said it was sad news, but I'm not really disappointed. And that's because I kind of expected it. Like, it's one of those things that in the back of my head, I was like, I don't think they could do this. Because that's like barely any time, y'all, to get something that big together. And we know Apple, they've had their struggles with AI, so I'm honestly not surprised. It will be kind of sad to wait till probably September because I'm assuming it's going to be with 27. But I feel like if it's good, I'm willing to wait that long. And the thing is, I could feel like that could be one of the big things with 27. I'm actually working on a video where I'm actually working on my iOS 26 review, and I'm going to talk about like my wish list for 27. But basically, I just want 27 to be more reliable, have more functionality, and looks like we'll have these new AI features. Because iOS 26 is so buggy. Like, even to this day, y'all, I still experience major bugs. Now, one of the bugs that I was experiencing, so far, turns out it wasn't necessarily with iOS. It had to do with RCS and, like, RCS keys, basically. I was texting my friend that I do the podcast with, my other podcast, I mean. And as you may or may not know, he uses an Android phone because he is the Android guy, as you'll see in the podcast. And I had an issue where I would text him and it would be like, not delivered! After it said delivered, and after he got it. So I did some research, and it turns out that it is a bug, but it also does involve the other side. So basically, what we did is I turned RCS off and on, and it basically reactivates it and essentially gets a new verification or certificate for RCS messaging. And he did the same thing, just how you would do it on Android. And so far, that seems to have fixed it. So if y'all are someone out there having that issue, try doing that. Now it will involve on both sides, because see the thing is I was only having this bug with Android users, and it seems like that fixed it. So it technically wasn't iOS 26, but there's other bugs. Like for instance, I'll be like rotating something, and then like when I rotate the landscape, it just goes up into this corner. Or like on my iPad, for instance, every time I restart it, it rearranges my home screen. And I'm like, no, Apple, I like my home screen how it is. So it's just things like that, and I gotta be honest. iOS 26 has been the most buggy. Anyways, I'm getting into my review. That's a whole separate thing that I'm not gonna get into. But that's my, I just, yeah. iOS 27. And I honestly kind of feel like that has been a wish for years by not just me, but I really hope next year that's what Apple will do. And hopefully it won't be as buggy. It was a big redesign year. So, yeah, talking about the new Siri, I'm really excited for it, but I am willing to wait for it. I just hope it comes out this year, which again, they did promise this year. I'm really excited for it, and I didn't expect it to come out that soon, so we'll see. It will probably be 27, and I honestly kind of think it would just work out better, you know? Honestly, it's going to be so weird seeing or interesting seeing how Apple will market this because of how it went the first time. They had to take down ads. It's like, would Apple make ads again? Because, I mean, they'll have. I mean, it would be one of those awkward things. The launch of this will be awkward. Let me just put it that way. But I think once people have it in their hands, like once people are using it, like I think that awkwardness will go away. It'll be like, okay, Apple. It was rough. It was a rough journey, but here we are. So that's the gist of of it. I hope it's good. I do hope Apple will eventually use their own models and move away from Gemini, but it is a customized version of Gemini. We'll see how this goes. It's going to be so interesting. So, and because that's another thing. Not only are they having to market it for the second time, they're also going to have to market it with the in mind that it's basically Gemini. It's a different model of Gemini. So, I hope it's faster than Gemini because I have used the not the like the web browser version of Gemini, and I've even seen my Android friends use it, and it is honestly really slow. Of course, Siri is not AI, so maybe that's why I'm used to it being fast, and maybe that's just normal. But I hope it will be faster than on that. That could be one thing Apple could pull together for this, but I am not sure. All right, and moving to our last piece of news, we might be seeing new Apple products as soon as February 19th. So basically, stock is running low for the iPhone 16e and iPad Air. And this is as we are imminent of the iPhone 17e, as the 16e came out in February 25. So, and we also are going to be seeing like new iPads and everything. This does make sense, and it sounds like the 17e. At first, it was rumored to have a dynamic island, but now it sounds like it's just going to have the A19, better connectivity, and MagSafe, which I really think it should get the island, but and then just some chip upgrades for the iPad 12. Will get the A18, which means it will have Apple Intelligence at a perfect time with the new Siri, and then the M4 iPad Air. Hear me out. It's Apple's 50th anniversary. I think Apple should save all this for a March or April Apple event. Have a big 50th anniversary Apple event with the new budget MacBook, the new MacBook Air, the new iPhone 17e, all these different things. Now, I do feel like for the M5 Pro, MacBook Pro, that we've been missing, it needs to come out as soon as it can, because it should have came out last year, but no. It should have come out in January, but I mean, it sounds like that got delayed, so I mean, but I just love Apple events, and we have not got a spring Apple event in so long, so I'd love to see a big 50th anniversary because it is the 50th anniversary, and Tim Cook said they're going to celebrate it in some way, so who knows? Apple might be planning on doing some sort of a spring event, maybe even on April 1st, which is their 50th anniversary. So, I don't know. But that's what I hope that happens, and it's kind of hard to believe Apple's been around for 50 years. Like when I look at my iPhone, I think of a modern company, and it's just so weird having that 50-year in my head. But then again, it's like Apple's modernized, Apple's grown over the years. So, oh my word, I just dropped my phone. on my keyboard. Anyways, yeah. So, everyone, that is all the topics for this episode. This episode was kind of a mess. It may not seem like it to you, but I've had to pause the recording several times in OBS because, okay, I forgot to make the episode theme. And then when I was about to say, let's do the episode theme, I was like, oh, I didn't make the episode theme. So I said, but before we do it, here's the episode theme. And after I said that, I paused it, hopped into Final Cut Pro, made the episode theme, and put it in OBS. And I was like, and then I did that. And there were several other things. So it was a bit hectic, but you know what? It all came together. I'm going to have to edit something out of this video too, which is so annoying because usually I try not to edit my podcast. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the built-in YouTube editor. So that way I don't have to do that and it doesn't get more compressed and it doesn't have a bigger file. So yeah. Anyways, y'all, thanks for listening or watching to this episode of the BitCast. And I will see y'all in the next one.